All right, so now it's going to be your turn to, we had a discussion of proof of what sine of 30 degrees was. And then we talked about the official important values of sine. And I purposefully traded the background worksheet for what we're doing to one that didn't have it on there. But if you remember in the previous one, we said, okay, sine of 30, as I move left to right, goes through these official values, right? The official important ones. Do you remember what they were?
1, square root of 2, square root of 3 over 2.
So how am I going? So 1 is up
1.
here. Okay.
Square root of 2 over 2, I think.
So wait, I know one of them's 1 and the other one's 0.
Yes.
Okay, so let's...
0 is at the very end.
Right. So let's label them on the y-axis, though. So 0. Okay, 1/2. That's an easy one, too.
Yeah. And then there's square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 3 over 2.
Okay, where do they go?
Square root of 2 over 2.
Is less than 1/2? Is root 2 bigger than 1 or smaller than 1?
Bigger.
Okay, so that means root 2 over 2 better be bigger than root 1 over 2, right? Do you remember how big it was? About?
It was 0.7.
Yeah, so that's
Ish.
like right here, right?
And the other one will be like up here.
Something like that, right? Do you remember how, so root 3 over 2? Root 3 is like about 1.7, I think. So root 3 over 2 is going to be like about 0.86 is what it's going to end up being close to.
0.86.
So,
6.
well, 8.7 actually, right? So it's like 0, it's like 1.73 anyway, but it's up here. It's close.
That's
So
fine.
we've got root 3 over 2, root 2 over 2, 1 over 2, right? And then of course 1 is the top one. And then if I actually look at the negative values, it's going to be the same thing. Okay, it's of course negative, but so negative 1/2, negative root 2 over 2, and then negative root 3 over 2. All right. So now that we're all set up with our official labelings, right, we know that as we go along the graph of sine, we're going to hit at each of these x-coordinates, we're going to hit the important values. Okay? And notice the x-coordinates kind of bunch up, right? Because I go, first thing is I go 30 degrees, and then I go this middle thing right here. This middle one is 45 degrees, right? So what I'm doing is I'm jumping by 30, then I'm jumping by 15, by 15, then by 30, then by 30, then by 15, by 15, and so on. All right, so now what we're going to do is answer all these questions. So sine of 45 is, you tell me, from the graph.
Sine of 45 is...
So where's 45 on the x?
right here.
Right where? Oh, okay. All right. So it's this line right there. Sine of 45 on the x. So where do I go for the y? Up. Which official value is it?
Around 2 over 2.
Root 2 over 2. Okay. So we already did that one. What about 120?
120. This is 150. So here's 120.
Let's do the pointer. Okay.
This is 120. So we go up. That's the official value of 3 over 2.
Root 3 over 2. So we can say sine of 120 equals root 3 over 2. All right. Let's look at the last few. 180, 240, and 300. All right. So where's 180? Well, that's easy.
It's right there.
Okay, and
And
what's
it's at
the
0.
Okay, so 240. Where's 240?
270. 240 here.
Okay, and what is the sine value?
240. Negative square root of 2 over 2, I think.
So which one? Remember, we're gonna go. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. And here's 4. Right? This is like the first. That's 0. And then as I go through the points on the sine function, I go.
Negative square root of 3 over 2.
Yes, there we go. All right. Now the goal is, now that you get it, now you gotta memorize it. And that. So now 300. So we said this one right here.
270.
This one was sine of 240 was negative root 3 over 2. And then the next one is 300.
Whoops.
I wouldn't do undo, because the doing undo, it's like totally screws everything up. See, look, what happened was it moved it told us it moved sine of 240.
Oh.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, it's alright. I think everything got moved though. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Delete. Alright. So now 240 is right there. And we said that was negative root 3 over 2. Okay. Where is 300? And I'll switch to the pointer.
Good. This would be 300 here.
Which one? You're in the middle.
70. Right here.
Right. Go up 30 to 300. Okay, what is sine of 300?
Negative square root of 3 over 2.
Right, it's exactly the same as the one we just did, right? So that's also sine of 300. Okay, and then the second part deals with radians, but it's not like the graph of radians is any different. You have the same official values. Now this, let's just label it here. I think it actually might be a good thing for you to kind of do the same thing with the graph. At least in labeling the x-axis. So this is, again, it's 1/2 root 2 over 2 and root 3 over 2. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But of course the x-axis is different. Right? So here, what is the label? What's halfway between pi over 2 and 0?
Pi over 2. Radians or degrees?
Radians.
360 divided by 2 would be 180.
No, 180 divided by 2. This is 90. Remember, pi is 180.
Mm-hmm.
90 degrees. What's halfway?
This is 45 degrees. Or sorry, this is 45 degrees.
Right. In other words, pi over 4. I mean, I could just divide pi over 2.5 to get pi over 4. Right? So the labels on this graph are not exactly the same as the labels up here. Right? Up here, they took pi over 2, which is 90 degrees, and chopped it up into 30, 60, 90. Down here, they take pi over 2 and chop it up into 0, 45, 90, right? So the same triple of points is a little bit harder to come by, right? Because remember up top we go 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and then we have this triple of points in between. Okay. Well, down here we've got 90 degrees and we've got 180 degrees, so we better have the same triple of points. Okay. So I think, yeah, the good homework for you to do would be to kind of take what we just did and go through this graph at the right. Now, I will tell you this. These are not going to be labeled, right? Because where is 3 radians? Well, it's like somewhere over here next to pi, right? Because 3 is slightly less than pi. But these are not officially right? Remember, the official sanctioned sine values are 1/2 root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2, and 1, and 0. So whatever you're going to get for 3 radians, 4 radians, 5 radians is not going to be like the official sanctioned values. Okay? All right, so I'm going to save this one.